So the music clearly attracts more people, not least because it makes more noise than talking about the music. But at the same time, the reason for doing this competition wasn't purely music. We're not DJs, we're not musical promoters, we don't work for record companies. Our idea, our vision in organizing this music contest was to create a focus for thinking about how young people, in this case, but of course older people can make music too. But in this case, young people can use the media at their disposal, their characteristic ways of expressing themselves, their skills and their talents, to make a difference, not obviously to what gets negotiated in the building next door, but to how we envision climate change as a comprehensive social challenge that calls upon us to have different kinds of beliefs, different kinds of behavior, different practices, different institutions. In other words, a new world is always a new world through its music, its art, and its literature. As a social scientist, I'd be tempted to go off into a whole discussion of how every major turning in human history can be regarded as, among other things, a turning point in art, literature, and music. But I won't do that. This isn't an academic center, and it would be boring and take too long. But you get the point. If we are at a turning point, as previous speakers talking about law and climate change, or talking about poverty suggested, and that turning point will be, among other things, a turning point in our images, our sounds, and the way in which we use words for creative purposes. So let's have a little bit of discussion about that, and of course feel free to chime in with things that reflect the earlier part of the discussion as well. I think the microphone was turned down too low when I was told to put the music on hold, because we were actually absorbing the whole neighboring space. So I'll go and turn it up a little bit. But first of all, I would like to invite the Minister of Sustainable Development and Energy of the province of Carinthia, Mr. Rolf Holub, to say a few more words than he was able to when giving the certificates, for which I'm very grateful, perhaps with some of his ideas about how new forms of youth engagement and new forms of social mobilization can make a difference to the challenges of sustainable development. Please.
Thank you very much. I think we should go new ways in involving the youth people doing politics, because politics, the image is not very good. If you ask young people, what do you think about politics, they just go away and make men like this. So what we are trying in Carinthia is to take them on our way for solutions. And I have an energy master plan in Carinthia, and I have a master plan for mobility. And we're going all to the people everywhere they live, and we make discussions anywhere with young people and old people together. Advertisements in the newspaper when they say we come to your county and we talk about your problems and how you want to solve these problems together with the politics. And I think this is one way to change the world a little bit where it is needed to be changed. All the other systems are top-downing and they put in the solutions on the heads of the poor people, and they don't ask them, what do you think about this? But if you go to the people directly, where they live, you know what the problems are, and they're telling it to you. And this format you have to use, and not just go into advertisement and do elections and stuff like this, and present you with a nice face and say, give your vote to me, and you give me the money, and then I give you the law back. This is how we tried with master planning from bottom up and not top down.
If I may add, Mr. Holub is a musician as well, so a professional musician. So you can also say how to change the society through music and other forms of art.
Yeah, if you try to change society with your music, I think you will not be the big successful man. Yesterday I was at the cemetery of Paris and I visited Jim Morrison. He's now dead for 44 years. And also the people are coming along and say, hello Jim, where have you been all this time? But I think when you are doing honest work, it doesn't matter if it is music or it is politics, then you reach the heart of the people. And it's the same stuff. If you have ideas, if you have prospects of the future, with politics it's not so easy to reach the heart. With music you have another base, you reach the stomach and the heart. In politics you have to sing a little bit and be more honest. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Holub. We wish you much success for your work. And with this we come to another part of the world. We've had United States, we've had Indonesia, we've had Europe, Carinthia, and now I ask Mohammed Bakhrieba from the organization Call of Culture to explain us how he is using music and art to engage the broader society in global goals and peace work in your region.
Sure, thank you very much. I'm so delighted to be among you guys here. Your Excellency, thank you very much. The artist, brilliant work. We are in the Middle East, coming from Saudi Arabia. So the situation, as you know all, that the Middle East generally having a lot of problems and conflicts. And we thought of having the music as a mean or a drive to address social issues and peace building. So we designing a campaign with Mero. It's called the Face of Peace, and it's a very interesting campaign because we are targeting women to be the drive for peace. You know, we want to have the woman at the house to communicate peace to the kids, to the family, to the daughter and everyone. And from the house we can reach out to peace outside the house to the general society. So this is the idea. And interestingly to say, to add, that the celebrities who culturally actually affect everyone's daily life, we can see that from perhaps in fashion. We see the celebrities in the TV and we get affected in a way, so we love to wear like a celebrity or perhaps act like a celebrity, but unfortunately the media do not bring us the good acts of the celebrities. So we decided to engage the celebrity women in this Face of Peace campaign, and hopefully it will affect or help the region and the world to be a better place. Thank you.
He's really a great global youth leader. And with this we come to Dario Piselli from the Sustainable Development Solutions Network Youth Initiative. They are also leaders in using music and arts for youth engagement.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, and I also like to extend you and to all of you the apologies from Professor Jeffrey Sachs, the director of the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, of which we are, of course, the youth chapter. He wished he was here today, but couldn't make it in the end. Of course, first of all, for all of you who are not familiar with SDSM youth work, I encourage you to chat more. I wouldn't get into discussion right now. I'll just get straight to the point. I have to say, at SDSM Youth, we believe that, of course, young people are not only stakeholders, but they have the potential to be actively involved, an active participant in sustainable development, on climate change, and not just through advocacy, but also through concrete problem solving, concrete solutions. But nevertheless, of course, arts, of which we are so good at, is also a great means of bridging communication methods and bridging people and bridging cultures to achieve change. So that's why I'm here today on behalf of all SDSM Youth to announce one of our new initiatives called Youth Arts Initiative. This was launched, and this is going to be launched next year, thanks to the two brilliant minds, the brilliant young composers called Yuri and Vladislav Kuginia, who are, one is a PhD at Princeton University, the other is a master's candidate at New York University. They had composed a brilliant, maybe some of you know them for this, they have composed a brilliant composition called Rise, which they played against the Eon Music Ensemble and the Kronos Quartet in September during the International Conference on Sustainable Development in New York. It was mind-blowing. I was there, it was mind-blowing because it was a staggering way in the composition of classical and lyrical music to use climate change data to highlight the rise in CO2 emissions in music and put it in music. So it was really mind-blowing to be there and witness that. And of course they wanted to expand on that and create a platform to, of course, have scholars, professionals, young people, politicians come together and use music as a platform for change and to have an impact on, of course, solutions both for the SDGs and, of course, for climate change. And that is what the Youth Arts Initiative will be. We have in 2016 and 2017, we'll basically go on the hunt for 16 compositions, 16 new pieces, each one, four pieces of drama, 4 choreographies, dances, 4 music compositions, and of course, I had another one, I'm sorry, and 4 works of visual arts. While the final one, of course, one for each SDGs, which are proposed 17. So the last one will be one big composition linking all of those 4. And 2 of them, like for each area, 2 of them will be like composed by famous, established artists, and 2 by emerging artists, and they will be selected according to their potential and of course their vision, the long-term vision, but also their potential to achieve the SDGs. And they will be presented, of course, at conferences, venues, all sorts of events. And of course, we hope that you will be in touch with the process, you will follow it, and hopefully also make it even more successful by helping SDS and youth and being in touch with what we do. And thank you for having us again. And thanks also. It was brilliant session.
Thank you very much, Dario. I'm looking forward to work with you and to connect our initiatives somehow and to demonstrate that really music spans the world, builds a global community. I would like also to ask to join me here on stage Michael Xu, Wang, from the Vice Secretary General from the Youth Think Center China, who was our partner for the Rio +20 Global Youth Music Contest, and we are now exploring also opportunities to work on the next rounds of the competition. Please tell us about your youth engagement work.
Thank you, Dario. Hello everyone, my name is Michael and I come from China. Actually, we have a partnership with the IAI, start from 2012 in Rio +20 Summit, and we organized the Global Youth Music Contest in China, and we collect over 200 music work online and offline. And then we select the final 5 finalists to hold a competition in Beijing, which is held in artwork called UCCA. Maybe some people you know in the other countries. Yeah, and we have some winners to perform the rap songs on sustainable development, and also we have very excellent young guitarists who play the music to the environment protection. So these 2 winners, and we submit their work to Miro for the final competition globally. And in 2015, which is this year, we also talk with them to promote the Global Youth Music Contest in China. And we hope that in the following years, in 2016, and also the other programs, we can cooperate to combine the Global Youth Music Contest with SDG, which we are also promoting in China Chinese youth should understand how sustainable development is important and how innovative action they could participate in. And so maybe that's all. Thank you, Miro.
Thank you very much. Adriana, may I please ask you to join us here because Adriana is our angel. Really, that was extremely helpful and cooperative, and we are so lucky that you made it. Adriana is the focal point for Action for Climate Empowerment program of the UNFCCC Secretariat. Adriana, please tell us a little bit about your work and how your Global Youth Video Competition and Global Changes Music Competition, how this fits into your program.
Thanks a lot, Miro. Good afternoon, John, and good afternoon to all of you. I am very pleased to be here. I was just running from another event in UNESCO downtown about climate change education and the role of the schools. I think that when we started planning this music contest, we started planning with John and with Miro about how to give visibility to the youth voices, to the youth initiative. And if we are talking about climate change education, we are talking about formal, non-formal, and informal. And we have a common language, that is the common language of love, but also the common language of music. And with this music competition, a lot of young people around the world spread the message about their opinion, but also their views about climate change, and inspire others to take action. These two winners represent the voices of young people, and I want to say that the connection between the music contest as well as the global video competition are just platforms to showcase youth action. I want to congratulate the two winners for inspiring others, and also just to mention that we are in a time of transforming minds, and music, non-formal climate change education, videos, social media can help a lot to spread the message. Then thanks a lot to UNESCO, thanks a lot to Miro and to the organization, and thanks a lot to all young people that participate in this music contest, and also to contribute to raise awareness on climate change.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Adriana. I'm looking forward to working with you on Global Changes Youth Music Contest 2016 towards Morocco.
Thank you, Miro. Sorry that the moderator keeps running off to do things like readjusting the mic level. That's this mic, of course, not a friend called Mike. So, you've had a chance to listen to a lot of things. You haven't had much chance to intervene. We have a few minutes, not many, but would you like to take the opportunity to make some comments? Are we, as one says in English, barking up the wrong tree by doing this kind of thing, or are we on the contrary on the right track, doing something important, innovative, that deserves to go further? If so, any comments, any suggestions as to what we should do, could do better? Please.
Hi, congratulations for your work, it's really beautiful. And I have one question. Do you think it's interesting for including art inside education courses?
The heart. You mean that the heart isn't included? Art. I'm sorry. I thought you said heart, which got me onto it, but maybe we could discuss having the heart within education. So, arts education. Any comments?
I think that climate change education is about passion as well. It's about transforming minds. It's transforming attitude, behaviors, and how we can reach a population. We have noticed that climate change, that we need to raise awareness about climate change, but how we can do it. And the communication is very important, but we cannot transmit only a negative message. We need to transmit a positive message that climate change is as well an opportunity, the biggest challenge that the human beings are facing, but at the same time an opportunity. And if we use music, if we use theater, if we use art, it is also part of education, because thinking. Everything is part of the whole approach. And I think that with music, we can empower and also spread the voices not only of young people, but many others. I completely agree that art should be fundamental part of climate change education. And it is also why during the 3rd of December, that was the Young People Generation Day, we give visibility as young people, as an educator, and these non-formal and informal ways of educating on climate change.
Thank you, Adriana. Just to emphasize that from a UNESCO perspective, you may have noticed on the outside of the upper part of this stand, UNESCO's own slogan for this COP21, which is precisely changing minds, not the climate. And changing minds isn't about propaganda or brainwashing. It's about creating a new climate in the mental sense, in the cultural sense, within which things appear differently. If any of you were on this stand last Tuesday, on the 1st of December, when we had the first of these two most social transformation days on the UNESCO stand, you may have heard me say several times that climate change isn't a problem to be solved. It's an enduring condition to be lived with. If it was a problem to be solved, then music wouldn't solve it. But precisely because it's a condition to be lived with, more or less effectively, more or less consistently with fundamental values such as human rights, more or less consistently with legal commitments and other issues, then music, like the visual arts, like literature, can play a very important role in helping us to live with it. The problem-solving approach is incredibly narrow and has almost certainly long reached its limits. And if you want to tweet that, UNESCO_most. Whether you agree or disagree, there's no such thing as bad publicity on Twitter, as you know. So, any other? We have just a couple of minutes before we need to do the technical setup for the next part of our program, because this isn't finished. Don't go away. We have some very interesting things to show you, this time through the visual arts again, through photography. Any other questions or comments for the panelists, or comments about what came before? So I'll take the two. I may not have time for more.
I just have a comment. I'm from Australia, and in Australia we don't have a big music or arts program, so I think this is a really cool initiative, and I'm very excited to learn more about how we can participate. Thank you.
So, as Miro said, there are plans for a 2016 competition. Parameters, format, details still to be announced, but look out for it and make sure that you don't miss the opportunity to participate next year.
Hello everybody, sorry for coming late. I'm in CC from Gambia. I work with an initiative called the African Artists Initiative. Recently launched an initiative called African Artists Unite for Climate Justice. The idea is to bring together African artists and the creative communities in Africa to form a movement to scope to in Morocco. I've had two climate concerts already, one in Gambia, one in Kenya. So I just want to emphasize the power of the arts. Because people do, you know, yeah, when you set up a properly edutainment or infotainment program, it communicates better and more effectively than when you're in workshops and forums. So we realize the power of the arts and we're using that.
Thank you very much. In that case, the floor speaks for itself. In that case, let's stay in touch, because without wanting to get all public relations oriented, we have big, ambitious plans for COP22, many of them in continuity from what we're doing here, but of course in a context where we hope the issue will not be to adopt a climate change agreement, because it will have been adopted here, but to equip societies with the capacity to implement it, which is a very important issue, much more closely connected than the negotiations themselves to UNESCO's mandate. So we hope to have a big presence in Marrakesh for COP22, and we'll be very happy to keep in touch with all of you with respect to how you can help us plan it, think about it, and in due course implement it. Thank you very much for staying with us for so long this afternoon. There is one last thing to announce, which is the fact that We planned 2 prizes for the youth music competition. And you're right, I was forgetting. We planned to have a jury prize, and you saw who won it, and you listened to the performance. We planned to have a prize awarded by public votes. You saw the certificate awarded, you saw the clip. And we decided, because this is the way things sometimes happen within competitions, to award an additional special prize to a song that we judged slightly outside of the scope of the competition because it involved children much younger than the youth we were intending to honor, but also deserved to be honored because it was a good song with a catchy tune and a cool idea. So a group of school children from a primary school in Bonn won a special appreciation prize for their song Climate Astronauts. Can we have 30 seconds of it, or is that too complicated? I'm told it's too complicated. So, you'll find it here. You can listen to the Climate Astronauts, as indeed to all the other songs that we weren't able to give a prize to, because if everyone wins a prize, then it's not a competition anymore. But participating was very important too. So check out the Climate Astronauts on the website. With that, thank you very much for participating in the music segment of our program. And we now have just a few minutes for technical setup before we move to an encounter with the photographer Valenzuela. And my apologies, it's been a long day. An encounter with the photographer Valenzuela and with the makers of the film, The Anthropologists. Don't go away or come back in just a few minutes. Thank you very much.